This video is sponsored by Bityard. With over 400 cryptocurrencies to choose from on their spot exchange, dozens of USDT pairs for futures trading, perpetual coin futures, trade commodities like gold, silver and oil, Forex, and major indices like Nasdaq. You can buy crypto from Bityard with over 50 different fiat currencies, using Visa, MasterCard, Google or Apple Pay. If you like, you can use their copy trade facility, follow other traders who will execute trades on your behalf, or become a copy trader yourself. So if you want a bit of that, click the link in the description. Hello everybody, real quick video, just as I'm preparing for the live stream, I just thought I'd just show you guys something before I did the stream for the Patreons, where we just look at basically everything. I'm pretty sure that we're nearing, if not I've already touched the bottom. Touching the bottom might mean scraping a low or maybe making a new low, but I'm going to show you something now which might be of interest. But first of all, just quickly look at a couple of other things. Notice how the Nasdaq has had a very decent green week, right? This is your doji spinning top candle. Basically, doesn't really know which way it wants to go. And now what we've got is a bullish engulfing candle to the weekly. I'm pretty sure that we're looking for a decent CPI report next month, right? And what we're seeing now is markets pricing in a lot of that data that's coming in early. Basically, the economy is actually okay, and the Fed have gone a little overboard. Markets basically predicting what the CPI report is going to be. Remember, last month we did have a decent CPI figure. It showed inflation higher than the previous month, but down as far as the speed of it. Now, what I was going to show you here is just something just very briefly. So this is your bear market, it's your last bear market. Now, I made a video about, the length of this current bear market and this potentially being the top due to money flow index. Now, let me show you something. Now, weekly, you're not really ever going to get bullish divergence form on a weekly RSI. You're not really going to get that. It's too much of a lagging indicator to get that, and this is why people like to talk about it being oversold, which, to be honest with you, it's not. I wouldn't say it's oversold, but for a weekly it's pretty low, historically low. This is your bear market end, this is your March crash, and we're actually lower here than we've been in years, since the end of the bear market, right? That's the only read that we've got lower on the RSI. Again, we don't get divergence on this. It just turned around, right? The RSI just turned around, but what we did get was divergence on the money flow index, right? So what we see here is we're collapsing, we're falling, and actually by the time we hit this low, we had bullish divergence form on the money flow index. So there you go. So we got this in August, and then get our absolute low printed in December. So as we see over here, we'll just zoom in a little bit, hang on a second, just so we can see the prices of all of this. So we had a dip down to what, 6,300, and then the absolute low printed almost the exact low of about 50% drop there. So decent divergence built, more or less spotting the absolute bottom, and then lo and behold, we moved up. Next time we saw something similar to that was we had this huge consolidation after that took place, again all the way up to 14,000, and then a massive consolidation. And we'll just zoom in a little bit here so we can see the actual price action, because I remember this. I always use this as an example of when people start to get a little bit funny about where exactly they want to buy. Because I was saying, look, I'm just going to buy 6,600, all right? I'm just going to buy it. Other people will say, no, 6,200, not a penny less. So anyway, it did actually end up filling their orders if they kept it in there, but that was a black swan event, couldn't be accounted for. But what we're looking at for here now is divergences. So we've got this double bottom printed around here, more or less 6,004, 6,005, 6, whatever, and we've got lows printed over here on the money flow index. Basically a flat read, nice and flat. We're not reading the flat part though. We're going to read this low, because this corresponds to the wick low here, and then what we see is the March crash, another higher low, divergence forming. So we've got bullish divergence form on the money flow index on a weekly. So again, you don't get it on the RSI, you get it on the weekly. So what we're looking at now is the same kind of vibe. Now, like I say, I made a video the other day. In fact, it was my last Patreon live stream. I just made a video of why I think there's a good chance that the bear market is already ended, because the bull market, particularly as far as volume is concerned, ended in over here. The volume has been decreasing ever since. But this could be another print. Well, I mean, it is basically. There's no denying it. You can't escape it. That is another print of bullish divergence on the money flow index. So if we look at this historically, we have massive big retracement, bear market, full bear market, a low printed, a higher low printed, marked to the bottom. What we have here is a consolidation. Took 6 months. We've got a low form, and then a big crash here, and a higher low form divergence, and then up and away we go. And then now what we've got here again is an absolute low form. I mean, ridiculous low, the lowest low we've ever had, with a quite significant higher low. So a really strong read of bullish divergence on the weekly. And what we've got here, we've got highs, and it's perfect bullish divergence on the money flow index. So again, it's just something interesting to think about, because everybody's so bearish right now. It's kind of ridiculous. And you compare this, and again, everyone talks about the correlation with traditional markets and Bitcoin. Well, the correlation appears to be over for the moment. For better or for worse. But what we see is, despite obviously having a bullish engulfing candle here on Nasdaq weekly, we've not seen that on Bitcoin. Could it be a delayed fuse? Could we pair this delayed fuse for what was until just this last week a heavily correlated asset to tech stocks? And can we match that with the previous historical reads of the weekly bullish divergence on the money flow index? Like I say, we were able to spot tops on here quite significantly, and volume tops as well. We could use these divergences also to spot significant lows, and I mean almost to the T exact lows, right? It's just an interesting thing to think about, because if we can continue with this bullish divergence, and again, it's so pronounced that we can obviously go down a lot more as far as price is concerned, but it would suggest that the next big leg down could literally be the absolute bottom. I'm not telling you that it is, I'm just saying historically it's managed to catch a decent read over the last two historical lows printed here. End of bear market, massive consolidation into a black swan, and now what we've had is obviously correlated with all stocks basically have all gone down. It's all the same, and we all know why. It's all to do with bloody inflation and all these other things that feed into that. But on top of that, we've also got it's the same read, isn't it, that we've had these last two times in the past, spotting absolute lows. So again, there's no point in trying to get clever and catch it to the exact penny. I got Bitcoin at its bottom. I didn't buy Bitcoin at its bottom. I bought it around here. I didn't buy this dip. I bought around here. I didn't buy the absolute low. I've been buying all the way down, and I will continue to do that. And now what we see is something, to me, that seems pretty interesting, quite telling to the fact that all models so far have not worked out. We had what's his face talking about lengthening cycles. That's not been quite right. We had Bob Lucas with the 4-year cycle, which if this ends up turning and reversing around here, the 4-year cycle ended up being a 3-year cycle with a bubble pop around here, December 2020. And we've got Plan B with all his predictions. It would appear that all models are wrong, and all sort of major expectations have not materialized. No, I'm not saying anyone really knows what's going on, because they don't. Nobody knows what's going on. But what we can look at is similarities, and I see one here that's definitely worth talking about. Bubble pops provided to us, divergences of lows also provided to us. So it's worth thinking about anyway. And like I say, you've got to. If you want to take part in an up-only chart, which is like Bitcoin, you've got to bite the bullet and get in somewhere. I would suggest that here is as good a place as of any, and you will be forgiven in the end. Like I say, even Matt Damon will be forgiven for buying the top. Anyway, I'm going to leave it with you there. I've got to start my live stream in 4 minutes, so get this uploaded, and feel free to join the Patreon. Otherwise, subscribe. Take it easy.